I never thought my daughter's wedding day would be the day my heart would break, but it did. I remember her as a little girl, every smile, every mischievous laugh. She was always so full of life, running around the house, asking endless questions, dreaming of her future. I could still hear her tiny voice echoing through the halls of our home, calling me for every little thing. And now, years later, here she was, grown up, making life-changing decisions, and I felt powerless. One evening, she called me, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Dad, I've found the one," she said. My heart swelled with happiness, but deep down, I couldn't shake a sense of unease. I tried to hide my concern, telling myself, maybe I'm just overthinking. She's grown, she knows what she's doing. Yet, every parent knows that nagging worry, the one that never truly leaves you, no matter how much you try to suppress it. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of wedding preparations. The house was alive with activity, flowers being arranged, invitations being sent, relatives calling from all over the country. Everywhere I looked, people were happy and smiling. But I noticed subtle things about the groom, small behaviors that didn't sit right with me. Secretive phone calls, moments of arrogance, small lies that seemed harmless but lingered in my mind. I told myself, perhaps I'm being too cautious. Maybe he's just nervous. But my gut told me otherwise. One afternoon, while helping my daughter pick out her wedding dress, she held my hand and said softly, "Dad, I know what I'm doing. I promise I've thought this through." Her eyes were full of trust, of love, and determination. I wanted to believe her completely, but the feeling of worry remained. I said gently, "I just want you to be safe, honey. That's all I ask." She smiled, a mix of understanding and reassurance, and walked away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I realized then that part of being a parent is learning when to step back, even when your heart screams to protect. The wedding day arrived with all the grandeur and joy one could imagine. Guests arrived, dressed elegantly, flowers adorned every corner, and laughter filled the air. My daughter walked down the aisle, radiant in her gown, her eyes locking with mine for a brief moment that seemed to last an eternity. I forced a smile, masking the knot of anxiety in my chest. The ceremony proceeded flawlessly, and everyone seemed happy, but the uneasy feeling in my gut only grew stronger. Something felt off, though I couldn't quite put my finger on it. During the reception, while people were dancing and celebrating, my daughter disappeared for a while. Panic gnawed at me as I searched for her, calling out her name. I found her sitting quietly in a corner, her eyes brimming with tears, and in her hand, a note. I read it, and my heart sank. The groom's past, secrets he had hidden, actions he had taken that were never meant to be discovered, were all laid bare. Every fear I had ever had about him suddenly became real. I felt a mixture of relief that my instincts had been correct and pain for my daughter, who had to learn this truth on her own. I sat beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. She leaned into me, her tears soaking my shirt, and I whispered, "I'm here. Whatever happens, I'm here." She looked up at me, her eyes filled with a mix of sorrow and understanding, and I realized something important. Sometimes, children must face their own challenges, their own mistakes, to truly grow. Protecting them is instinctive, but letting them navigate life's complexities themselves is an act of love as well. As the evening unfolded, the groom's secrets were slowly revealed to the rest of the family. The tension in the room was palpable. I observed silently, letting my daughter speak for herself, watching her handle the situation with courage and dignity. My heart ached for what she had endured, but it also swelled with pride. She was strong, resilient, and wise beyond her years. The lessons of life had come to her, as they always do, sometimes in the hardest of ways. Finally, as the reception wound down and guests began to leave, I pulled my daughter aside. I looked at her, tears in my eyes, and said softly, "I wanted to protect you from everything, but sometimes, love and trust are stronger than fear. You've handled this with grace, and I am proud of you." She smiled, a faint but genuine smile, and whispered, "Thank you, Dad." That night, as I sat alone in my study, reflecting on the day's events, I realized that being a parent is not about shielding your children from every hurt or mistake. It's about giving them the strength and support to face life head-on. The wedding day, which I had feared would break my heart, had instead become a profound lesson in love, trust, and letting go. I understood that my role was not to control every outcome, but to stand beside her, no matter what path she chose. And as I finally rested, I whispered a quiet prayer, hoping that her life would be filled with happiness, resilience, and the courage to navigate the world with her own heart. For me, that wedding day would forever remain unforgettable, not just for the joy and celebration, but for the lesson it taught me about love, trust, and the delicate art of letting go. My daughter had stepped into her new life, and I had learned a new depth of parenting, one that embraced both vulnerability and faith in the strength of the ones we love most.